David.
Afternoon, Mike.
Good afternoon.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Especially with these two games coming up pretty quick and what your injury situation is overall, how big of a concern is that? And can you, I know it's still early, but with Jake and your three offensive linemen from last night, kind of where they stand?
Yeah, definitely. We're still kind of working through a couple of these, but, I think Jake will be hard-pressed to be available. Zach Martin, we're still finishing up on there. But we do have hopeful to get some guys back this week. So, that's where we're hoping it balances out.
And I know you always use the determining factor, just physically, if a guy can play, he plays. But when a guy is clearly compromised and you have 2 games in 4 days like you do coming up, does that factor into the decision?
I would say it's definitely part of the equation, without a doubt. It's if they're not fully capable of playing this week, then obviously next week is, I think the question we'll be talking about here when we get to Sunday is more, potentially the guys that are coming back, maybe how much they will, how much they will play, because, you just can't bring guys back and expect to play 50, 60 plays.
Clarence Hill, All City, Dallas. Can you just talk about the fight this team continues to show? Even though the scores seem to be lopsided, Jerry talked last night about you haven't lost a team, and I know there were some skirmishes on the field last night. Is that an example of this team still has the passion to play the game?
Oh, definitely. You got to remember now, this, just like any year, this journey starts back in April. So, and these guys have done a lot together. We've done a lot together. We've put a lot into us, and we are frustrated, disappointed where we are. But this locker room has a tremendous amount of fight. I can't tell you how much I do believe in them, and it is difficult, but we'll continue to fight.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. You told us a couple weeks ago that you expected a transition defensively. I can't imagine you thought it would take this long for things to get up to speed. Does that kind of surprise you that the transition has taken this kind of long?
I think there's a lot more to it than just a transition. We have a lot of moving parts on defense. I think the injuries were probably, the biggest setback, coming out of training camp early in the season. We do have new guys playing, certain positions, just evident this past game too. So, and we've had to play certain defenses more this year than we ever had, just because of the way the lineups have laid out.
And then offensively, when that's not gone the way you had hoped that it would go either, do you ever consider giving Schottenheimer a chance to call some of the plays at times, or rearrange how you guys look at your process?
Haven't considered, don't think like that.
John Machado with The Athletic. Can you just share what maybe your reaction was to knowing that you think the roof's going to be open and then it's not, when finding that all out, and did that have any impact on anything that you did yesterday?
No, if the roof's open, you go out and you measure the wind. I know there was a potential wind, so we were prepared to assess the environment. But yeah, we had plenty of time. We're there early, so we have plenty of time to adjust.
And then on the Turpin play, I think it's easy for us on the outside to say, well, how come there aren't more plays like that? Why do you think that maybe Kavante hasn't been as involved in the offense?
I won't say he's been involved. I think Davante's had a lot of opportunities as far as play time, and I think he's done a really good job. If you look at the steps, the jump he's made from last year to this year, he's able to play all the positions on offense. So I actually feel very good about what he's given us at the receiver position.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. When you're going through times like this, how do you try not to change too much or tinker a little bit, or just stay the course because you believe in the process?
Well, we're going to stay the course. I'm just really like any year, any week. Really, the injury reports really drives a lot of our decision, drives a lot of what we can do, what we cannot do. So, and that's kind of what we're working through right now as a staff, trying to get ready for Washington.
Run game, we talked about how been soft, and it looked like you was moving forward. How frustrating was it just to see?
Yeah, we took a step backwards, clearly yesterday. So I was disappointed in just the way that laid out. So we need to do a much better job this week.
Saw Ceedee of The Athletic. Mike, what were your initial impressions about Dan Quinn when you hired him, just on your staff, and then, how did that relationship grow in the ensuing 3 years?
Yeah, just knowing Dan from across the way, always had a ton of respect for him. It was awesome to have him here in Dallas. He's become a very good friend, and I'm really happy for the success he's having.
What ways did you see him relate to players? It seems like the players also have a great deal of respect for him.
Yeah, definitely. Dan does a great job connecting with people. Has great personality. So, yeah, he did a great job for us and is doing a great job now.
Nick Harris for Star Telegram. Getting guys like Josh Butler and Ryan Flanoy starts and ample experience yesterday. Is there an intention moving forward to give more youth opportunities like that?
I mean, we've been playing with youth all year, so we're going to do it. Yes, I mean, so if it lays up this way, they'll have a chance. Hopefully, we get Brandon Cooks back this week, so we'll see how that shakes out.
We've been playing 3 games in 10 days. Does your staff meet just to kind of talk about workload for the guys over the course of the next couple of weeks?
Workload for the players?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a plan. We've been through this before, so we actually had to work ahead for Washington last week. Being on a Monday night schedule. So we're into Washington today, and we get the end of the week, then we'll have to work ahead on the Giants. So we have a good plan.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, given your familiarity with Dan Quinn, how similar is his defense in Washington to what he ran with you?
It's very similar. I think Joe Witt's done a tremendous job. I mean, he's taken pretty much the system there, and then he's gone in a direction that he believes in. He's been very aggressive with it, and I've been very impressed.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. It's been a tough year for the offensive line in a lot of different ways. With the latest on the injury front, how much more challenging will that be over these next couple of games at least?
I mean, that's part of it. Obviously, Zach is a key. He's a keystone for our offensive line. So, that will be a big one. But, it's just more opportunity for these young players that really have been playing a lot and have been getting a lot of work. So, one of the benefits of our young players is, Zach doesn't practice on Wednesday, so they've been getting those reps. So, yeah, we just gotta get them lined up and put them in position to be successful.
Jasmine Monet, Dallas Cowboys media. With the absence of Dak Prescott and DeMarcus Lawrence, who have you seen step up into a position of leadership, and how effective would you say they've been from a cultural perspective?
I think the biggest thing what you're looking for in guys now is more leadership through action and productivity, and that always happens particularly with young guys. But we have a segment in our team meetings the day before the game where the team captains have an opportunity to speak. So that's been interesting to see some of the younger guys, and I'll just go off of this week. Cooper Beebe was the offensive captain, so it's good to see these guys let their personalities out and take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah.
Ed Werder, WFAA. This week, you got Will Greer is now a factor at your quarterback position. What do you see the quarterback roles being for these next
Cooper
weeks?
Rush will be the starter, and we're putting together a game plan to go win. So we got a package for Trey, and we'll see what happens.
Aaron.
Aaron Lone Star, just following up on that, I think you said last night that you wanted to get Trey a series. Was that just because of the score, or
Yeah, I just think a lot of young players were playing at the end of the game, and it would have been good to get Trey in there. Was the point I was making.
You said earlier that some players could return this week. You mentioned Brandon Cooks. Who are some of the other guys you think that you might get back?
Nealon, hopefully he can get back. So Chuma's practiced last week. So all those guys are getting close.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio on the Fan. Josh Butler moving into the starting lineup after being elevated to the practice squad the previous couple of weeks. What had he shown in practice and in that limited time of elevation that merited moving into the starting lineup?
I mean, JB's been super, super consistent. I think it just like anything has always shown the ability to be a factor on special teams, but just his versatility and I thought he did a nice job. And came on also having the opportunity to play too. So backing up the nickel and special teams. But those guys are super, super consistent guys, super competitive. So you love it when you see those guys get that chance.
Dave.
Mike, you were talking earlier, we were asking about Zach, and you were talking about working through injury situations, and it's always physically, but do you have any conversations on a guy like Martin or somebody, just the message it sends when a guy is not completely healthy and he's pushing and saying, I want to be in there? You talk about leadership and setting an example for younger players. How do you balance getting a younger player more time and a veteran saying, no, things are going bad, I need to be out there, I need to be part of this?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, it's a great example what Zach Martin has shown this year and obviously throughout his career. And I think that's something that we all notice. But the practice structure is in place. We have a vet select plan for individuals that are that you got to be smart with them. It is a long year, 17 games, and all those things are factored into it. So the young guys do benefit from it in our practice regimen. And then with that, he's obviously involved in all the meetings. Is definitely involved in the walkthroughs and things like that. So the leadership component is always in place. So I think the systematic approach of how we handle the Zach Martins has worked out very well for us.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's another tough week for us as the Dallas Cowboys fell hard to the Houston Texans on Monday Night Football, losing 34-10. From offensive struggles to defensive lapses, this game left a lot of fans wondering, where do we go from here? But before we dive into all the details of what went wrong and what this means for the rest of the season, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single update. We're aiming for 12,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can make it happen. Let's build this community of passionate Cowboys fans together. So, let's break it down. The Texans came out swinging with a quick strike touchdown drive to open the game, and though the Cowboys tried to fight back, it just wasn't enough. One of the few bright spots, Kavante Turpin and his incredible 64-yard touchdown reception, clocking a top speed of 22.36 miles per hour, the fastest by any ball carrier this season. What a play. But beyond that, the offense struggled, putting way too much pressure on Cooper Rush, who threw 55 passes in this game. Yes, he racked up 354 yards and a touchdown, but without a solid running game to back him up, it felt like he was asked to do the impossible. What do you think, Cowboys Nation? Should we lean more on our running game moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now let's talk about the defense. Even with Micah Parsons back in action, the Cowboys just couldn't stop Houston from making big plays. The Texans' Derek Barnett and Jalen Piter absolutely dominated, with a strip sack and fumble recovery that sealed the game. It's clear that the defense is missing its edge. What do you think is the biggest issue? Is it the coaching, the lack of depth, or just bad luck this season? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear from you. All right, let's take a quick poll. Option 1. The Cowboys' biggest problem is the coaching staff. Option 2. Injuries are the real issue holding us back. Option 3. The roster just isn't good enough this year. Comment with your vote, 1, 2, or 3, and we'll feature the results in our next video. And hey, while you're at it, let us know, what's one change you think could turn this season around? With this loss, the Cowboys have now trailed by at least 20 points in 6 straight home games and NFL record we'd rather not hold. It's hard to believe this is where we are, especially considering the high hopes we had at the start of the season. So, what's next? In 2 weeks, we face the Giants. While that game might seem winnable, is it too late to save the season? And more importantly, could this stretch of poor performances lead to some big coaching changes in the offseason? What's your take, Cowboys fans? Would a coaching shakeup help or hurt the team at this point? Let us know in the comments. We're all ears. All right, Cowboys Nation, that's a wrap on this tough game recap. It's not easy being a Cowboys fan right now, but we're here for the highs and lows, just like you. If you enjoyed this video, or even if you didn't, but love discussing Cowboys football, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on that notification bell. We're closing in on 12,000 subscribers, and with your help, we'll get there. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep the faith, Cowboys Nation. We'll see you next time.